Welcome back, WNST, Task Baltimore and Baltimore Positive. The rapper out on front says so. Want to remind everybody to wear their masks during this incredible pandemic time that we're living through here. And I got a story to tell, and I'm really looking forward to spending a little bit of time with this guy. We had many people. We've had WNST since the summer of 1998. So this is our 22nd summer on August the 3rd. It'll be 22 years since we started WNST. And I got a lot of alums and folks, and I really don't even know how this guy got into my life. He is a true civic activist and social justice warrior. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He interned, produced, helped out, pitched in, did lots of stuff with events and all the things that we did here many moons ago. And he's my friend out on Facebook, and every once in a while, around the holidays, sometimes we get some breakfast together. He brought me this fantastic mask that has a fantastic, soft, silky underlining. It breathes real nice here in the summertime. It says "Be United" on it. Sean Stinnett's been my friend a long time. He's over on the West Side, representing, amongst many other things, the Baltimore School for the Arts and West Arlington Association, the Improvement Association over there. But Sean, I got to tell you, man, I've known you a long time, and you can tell me how you came into my life, because I really don't even know. I mean, so many people at the radio station came and went. I don't know how you came in, but I had no idea that you went to high school with Tupac. And then I saw the Tupac picture. My wife looked over my shoulder and said, "That's Jada Pinkett." And I'm like,
right.
Damn if it isn't Jada Pinkett. So, I mean, I didn't even know. All this time, you were around the greatness and the California love of Tupac Shakur. I didn't even know. So how did this happen, man?
Yeah, we were the class of 1989 at Baltimore School for the Arts. And my apologies. First, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the
Truly,
mask, by
you
the
know,
way.
in my heart, you're a friend. Yeah, you definitely call one. I'm glad you're rocking the mask. You look great in it. But yeah, we were class of 1989 at Baltimore School for the Arts. Actually, Jada and Tupac, they were in the theater department. I was in the music department. I played the trumpet. And I played the trumpet. Also, I was even forced to sing. You know, all music majors, we had to be in the choir under the late great Dr. Nathan Carter. But yeah, that's you know, back in the day, I tell stories. You know, for
you played the trumpet.
Yes, played the trumpet.
I got my mask on now, so if it's a little bit weird, you know, it's because I'm wearing my mask. I'm trying to be socially. But this picture in your yearbook. It looks like a yearbook picture.
Well, it was a friend of ours, one of the art students, Alvin Pettit, who is his father is Dwight Pettit, the lawyer here in Baltimore.
I'm smiling, and I got to take my mask off because I'm smiling a big smile because I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, that's a hell of a picture.
Yeah.
Your kids love this picture, right? Don't ask
me why I was looking the other way, but I guess I was trying to be cool.
Jada was like all like silent, like throwing down, and Tupac's like, "Yeah, I'm here. You know, it's cool." Cool.
Yeah. That's back in the day when it was only 125 people that attended the entire school, and it's like we were all like family. I mean, everybody
was it like a
fame
school?
Different backgrounds.
A little bit like Fame, kind of sort of like that.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't all dance and all that in the hallways, but you know, it was very demanding, and they kept. And I think that I benefit from everything that I do right now from that school because we had to do so much.
Discipline, right? Literally,
time.
Right? Discipline, right? Discipline.
No, I didn't hear you.
Discipline that you learned.
Oh, yes, correct, yes.
You played the trumpet?
Yeah, I played the trumpet.
You still play the trumpet?
Once in a blue moon. I can't say that I play it every day, but once in a blue moon, I play for some kids just to show them how it sounds and how to work the keys.
Well,
work the valves, rather.
I bet you don't know this. My grandfather, Tommy Arena, my mom's father, came over from Italy and joined the Navy when he was underage, but he played the trumpet. And so he had the Tommy Arena Orchestra when I was a child, and they played weddings and bar mitzvahs and whatnot. And he was out on the west side of town, out in Randallstown. But my grandfather, Tommy Arena, he played the bugle at the racetrack. He played the bugle in 3 Preaknesses in the late 1950s. Right. So my grandfather was a trumpet player and a bugle player. So I would have been talking trumpet with you the things you learn. So when did you come to NST? I would love to know. so many people came through the place in so many different ways as we move toward the Baltimore Positive brand as we're doing here this summer. But I have no idea how I met you, Sean. I just know we have 131 mutual friends, and if we were really lucky, Ray Bachman would give us a plug on his trivia game once a week, right?
Right. Good. Well, it was thanks to Rob Long. Rob Long and I, we met at Coppin State University, and he was with NST at that time, and we were in the same discipline, same program at Coppin. And then from that point, he was like, "Hey, intern, at the radio station, come on in. I'll introduce you to the owner." And that's when we had our lunch over at the Mount Washington Tavern. You said you wanted to sit down and meet me and kind of have a conversation. We broke bread, and that's how it started, from interning, I think maybe a semester.
What year was that? Was that
at Purdue.
Hold on, that must have been 04, 5, 6, somewhere in there, maybe?
That was around, I want to say probably 05.
I'm holding my Coppin State banner up because, it sits on the, they're our partners. They've been with us for about 6 years now, Ruffin and everybody over there. And the good doctor, we had him on a couple weeks ago and talking about, basketball and Juan and everything that's going on with COVID shutting down schools. But, so, man, you've had an illustrious little past, but I want to bring us to the present because you were a part of what we did over a decade ago. We've stayed friends, through all my wife's battles with cancer and, everything that went on with Freddie Gray. I saw you get active out on the streets, and I don't think anybody is as loud as you are about guns and violence and trying to bring order and bring calm to our youth and trying to teach people the right way. And clearly, after George Floyd and what's going on in the city, we now have a young mayor-elect, 36 years old, even younger than you and me at this point, Sean, in Brandon Scott. Give me a little background on your background in certainly in West Arlington, but your civic activism and trying to bring people together for the right reasons here in Baltimore.
Yeah, sure, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I've always wanted to get, to be active in some type of capacity, and actually, when you talk about Brandon Scott, his family, his mother and father live in West Arlington, so I knew them, for a long period of times, and I came across that Brandon Scott as well as Munir Bahar, they were co-founders of the 300 Men March. And I reached out to them, and that was sort of my way to actually get into more of, the activism in the communities and so forth. And started with them as far as, going around different neighborhoods and, speaking into the community and trying to, talk to, returning citizens and so forth, as far as that we have to really take back our streets and really got to make a curve as far as in regards to this violence. So just throughout the years, it's just, I got 2 daughters, and I've always felt that, I need to do my part as far as, because not only, even if I didn't have children, but because I have children and I had like 2 daughters, I really, really got to make a difference. I really, really got to do my part as far as in the community, so I can, make sure that they have a prosperous future and a healthy future at that, because it's just far too many years that we've had just a number of young black people as far as dying in the streets of Baltimore at the hands of other black people, at the hands of police, at the hands of these bad individuals. So I just felt that I needed to do my part. I mean, it's a lot of people that's doing and has done great work as far as that can blow me out the water. But I just said that, I got to at least come out of my home and actually do my part and really, really start taking back my community. So that's where I moved back home, which I say in West Arlington, and with my family, and and this is a whole family affair. It's not just me.
I know it is. I see it on Facebook, Sean. I really do. I mean, it's admirable. I mean, I've told you that many, many times, and I'm a little embarrassed I haven't put you on the radio to talk about it, but I'm glad you're here now to tell me. So you say family affair. I see that. Fill me in on that. I mean, everybody in your family is aware of what's going on. Everybody in every family in this country is now, but having you on right now, it's almost embarrassing to me because, like, you're 300 Men March. You're going back years doing this. I'm watching you doing it. Now the George Floyd thing has brought a whole different light on this the last 3 or 4 weeks for everyone, for what you've been talking about, for what Anquan Boldin was on here talking about a couple months ago, for all the things Colin Kaepernick was talking about 3 years ago, for the knee that I took in Wembley 3 years ago, all of that. It's come full circle here this month, hasn't it?
Right. Yes, it has. I mean, it's just that it's time. I mean, it's long overdue. But I'm glad that things had gone viral. I'm not glad the fact that the way it started because of the loss of life of George Floyd, but it's just been brewing that just the devastation with the black community has endured for so many years, history as far as dealing with this issue, and now it's good that it's bringing more light to it, but we have a lot of work. We have a lot of sort of togetherness that we have to bring together, not only within the black community, but just with all communities. And it's just that, we just need, folks like you and myself and everything. It's great that, we can have these conversations and even these challenging conversations. But at the end of the day, it's all about not turning our back when we do have those challenging conversations. We know that we can build from this. That's why I tell everybody that, when I was at School for the Arts, it's funny, we dealt with issues like this. So that's where it's like I would say go interview with somebody that's, back in the 80s and 90s that attended School for the Arts, because we had so much mixture of different complexions of people, and not just by color, but just by nationalities, religions, economic background and so forth. So we learn how to cope with each other, to deal with each other. And I think that's where, when I ran a campaign, I had probably a quarter of the amount of people that donated towards my campaign were Republicans, but it's just the respect and the love factor that we've had with each other. It didn't matter whether I was a Republican or Democrat or independent or whatever. They supported the cause, and they supported a friend, and they supported the mission of that individual. And that's where, we need to really start learning more of, to be able to put it, into work, put it into use, and really, really grow from that.
Sean, I've been pretty outspoken on the violence front at with MMA, coming into my world. And we had Johnny Rollo on the air for years. I'm sure you saw him around the station and whatnot.
Yeah.
The promotion of violence, and this would even be at the NFL level, but certainly at the MMA level, boxing, things where the heart of the game is violent. I really do worry, where we've gone the last 20 years, where I used to be in a sports bar and, they wouldn't even put sports on, right? Now I go into a sports bar, I'm sitting there eating a chicken wing, and, guys are in a cage literally mauling each other. And sports has been the outlet for that. And then I see people get guns, and I see these video games, and I see a younger generation, and I see 300-plus murders, in our city every year, and that number sticks, and it sticks outside the Beltway, and we talk about the violence. Just seeing these videos all over the country with police officers, what happened on the boardwalk in Ocean City last week, the violence, the root of this, add violence, and then you add the militia and the guns, and then you add the police trying to stop it, and then you add racism and Trumpism and all of this, and poverty and education, all of these factors, and we get this 300 murder a year number that we see on Fox 45, and that gets sent out into the counties, that people think that everybody's shooting everybody in the city every night. We got these fireworks going on every night. We're wondering if they're gunshots, and it's driving our animals crazy. But more than anything, at the root of this violence, for you, having grown up here, seeing where we are, and you talk about we must stop killing each other, and I see the memes and the pictures and all the things that you guys do with 300 Men March. Making it better, getting it just moving, and this was my philosophy, and the thought that I would run for mayor would be, can we make it better today and tomorrow and the next? Can we make it 1% better every day, right? In some way, just a little bit better, so that 3, 4, 5 years from now, we can look back and say, we really did something here. We created real change. And what I'm seeing out of George Floyd, what I'm seeing out of this this morally bankrupt con man running the country, and where we've gone in elections, where we've seen Bill Henry, where we've seen Brandon Scott, where we've seen different leaders, Nick Mosby. We have different leadership just in the city. We're about to hopefully see that in the country, that we would turn the tide. I'll tell you, Sean, I've driven through the city a lot the last 6-8 weeks during COVID, in the time where I was considering running for mayor. And I feel like Jack's getting a bad rap to some degree, because I think some things, trash-wise, cleanliness-wise, there have been some things that have gotten better. And I know you at West Arlington Improvement, you're out doing clean streets, youth employment programs, you're cleaning up the city. There are some things that get better here, and I know we're all tied to that murder number, right? Everybody's obsessed with that, and it's clearly an important number. But I want you to let me know when you feel like things are getting a little bit better, and when Brandon's got a hold of this, and when the potholes and the trash and all that. But I don't go everywhere in Baltimore every day feeling like things are getting worse. I do feel like some things are getting better.
Yeah. No, and I feel the same way, and I'm glad that you had mentioned Mary Young. Yeah, and I think Mary Young is has gotten a bad rap, because, and I don't think people really realize as far as what he endures. I think they put it out there and saying that he's been part of the system, the government system, for so long. Yes, that's correct. He has been an elected official for a very long time. However, at this point of his career, that, he came into, just look at it the way he came into the mayor's office. He had to, one, go through that transition as far as, dealing with Catherine Pugh and her situation. But when he walked right in, he had to deal with the
malware, yes.
The hacking.
Malware.
Yeah, that and some other issues and so forth. And he walked in, as far as, to me, without his own people. He had a mixture of still Stephanie Rawlings folks. He had a mixture of Kathy Pugh's folks. He probably even still had some people from back in Sheila Dixon's administration. So he really didn't have an opportunity to kind of, change things up and shake things up by bringing his own people in, because it's just the timing wasn't right. And then have to go through, the COVID situation, and it's something that nobody didn't have any experience of. So it's like you were pretty much doing something different on a day. You were improvising. So, the word I use as far as the music term, improvising as far as on a daily basis. So I think he's done a good job at this point to kind of keep things going. I do agree with him as far as keeping things shut down right now, because I think that it's, dealing with the COVID, a lot of people really are in denial when it comes to the fact that, this disease is real.
And by the way, that's across the political spectrum, across the racial spectrum, across,
right.
Like I've been moving about myself, and through the harbor, it's not young or old or black or white or left or right. I mean, a lot of people get it, and then there are a lot of people that don't get it, right? And all you can do is sort of shake your head at this point and say, it's plague, right? Like you've either done the work on the science and understand your life is at risk and you're putting others' lives at risk. But I am blown away by how some people have been so careless and reckless. And again, my wife's diabetic and a 2-time cancer survivor. I know the pain of fighting for your life. I've witnessed it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And that's how I came up with the Be United mask. I'd said that it was far too many people, out here walking around, not social distancing, not taking it serious. When we were on a complete full state lockdown, there were still folks out like it was just a regular summer day. And like I said, and also I came across too many people just really couldn't afford on constantly purchasing those disposable masks. So I said, well, hey, let me find a way that I can reach out to a company that can produce some masks, which I did. And found a company, actually a black-owned company that produced the mask.
Give a plug. Go ahead. Who is it? Who did these for you?
That
put you on the spot.
Before I'll make sure I'll get it.
Okay.
And I should know it off top of my head.
That's all right.
But yeah, they were able to produce it, and I got a small grant from Healthy Neighborhoods, because West Arlington, we reside in that 1 mile radius when it comes to state slots funds. 1 mile from the Pimlico racetrack. So I reached out to them, filled out a small grant request, and they were able to fulfill that request. And then from there, we were able to get the custom washable mask, because I said, this is the best thing. If you just have one, all you got to do is just, rinse it out, wash it every day, and you can continuously use it instead of using those disposable masks on a daily basis and keep on contracting whatever you may have or whatever may be in that particular mask.
West Arlington, for those who don't know, if you're familiar with the Rogers Station or West Cold Spring Station, sitting out on the west side, just a little east of Lockern, Liberty Road inside, kind of, sort of, right? Exactly. They're a little west of the zoo, right?
You got it.
There you go. Well, the masks are the Be United mask. Sean Stinnett is our guest. He's a one-time friend, intern, helper, event coordinator, doing all sorts of things here at WNST and doing great things out with West Arlington. And we've talked so much about the city. And are things getting better to some degree? Do you measurably see that there is some more care? Because certainly I have burred up, as you've seen the last 2 years, Sean, to say I want to lift boats. And I've seen, in my time doing this year and a half of doing Baltimore Positive with Don Moeller, and I told my wife this, I said, we're going to meet so many good people. We're going to, doing this, moving myself into this space. There'll be naysayers, there'll be haters, there always are. You know that. I've been doing this 30 years. But we're going to meet more good people. I'm going to get to meet people I've never met who are good people, who are going to be a gift unto me, and maybe I can be a gift unto them or provide something for them, like a relationship with Sean Stinnett or somebody like that, right? And I got to sit with all the mayor candidates several times, actually, and I can't say that I know any of them. Like, T.J. Smith's been on TV. Mary Miller came from the financial world. Sheila Dixon, I once was in the Santoni supermarket with her in East Baltimore, never said hello. Didn't know her at all. I know Juan. I don't know her. T.J. Tharoor Vignaraja, I met at Maritime Magic for 10 minutes as a mayor candidate. He's come on a couple times. And Brandon. Brandon came over to Fadley's, and I had to look at the date. It was late September of last year. And we did 3 segments with him about his background, going to Mervo and taking the buses and the neighborhood he's from, which is a little east of you. And, of course, he's in the 3rd District on the other side of town. And now he's the mayor, or going to be the mayor. And, I was shaped up to run against Sheila. And I think with Brandon, we have, at least in the city, hey, it's something different. It's someone who's qualified as a city council president, who's not necessarily regarded as part of the old guard, but is not a political outsider. He is a political insider, but a different kind of cat, coming from a different kind of background. To your point, in the 300-men march, that began something organic that led to something out of the streets, to him becoming the next mayor. As a black man from West Baltimore yourself, what are your expectations of a 36-year-old mayor that his family, they live in your neighborhood? Because a lot of folks don't know a lot about him, and certainly the business community, by and large, bet against him. He went into a meeting earlier this week and sort of threw down against Mark Weller and Kevin Plank and said no to that, and we've had other councilmen say no to defunding the police. I will be having all of these people on. Hopefully, there'll be an open invitation for all the council members, as well as Bill Henry and Nick Mosby and Marilyn Mosby and anybody else that wants to come on and discuss our city and how we make it better. I'll tell you this. I'm not going to run against Brandon Scott. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab a shovel and anything I can do to help, because I live here and I want to make it great. But tell me about Brandon Scott, what you know about Brandon Scott, and what your I don't know if you voted for him or not. I did not. I voted for TJ. But I just did. I wanted to see an outsider. I wanted to see a guy with TJ's view come in and do what he did. He didn't come close to winning, and that's okay. I've bet the wrong horses at races, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope Brandon's the right. Brandon's probably going to get my vote, right? I mean, 200,000 people didn't vote for Brandon. I'm willing to give Brandon a chance. We're going to bring him on. We're going to talk, and I liked him. But what do you know about Brandon?
Yeah, well, let me just step back for a second. This was probably one of the hardest selections that I had to go through, as far as when you look at mayor, because I have worked with and friends with a number of those candidates,
including Jack. I didn't even mention Jack. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah.
T.J. Smith. We've been friends for some years, and actually he had gone to school with my wife. out in Baltimore County, and Mayor Young when he was city council president. Anytime that I needed something, particularly for the Mount Washington school or any school that I was working with at the time, he was always there to provide whatever, if it's financially or whatever thing that I needed at that particular time. And then Sheila Dixon with the minority business community has always been there, and we've always worked together. And even, at my state level job.
Wow, you really have. I mean, when that ballot came to your house, you're not going to tell me who you voted for. No, I mean, seriously. I mean, I came from the background of not having any relationship with any of them and having to choose one, right? Like, and I'm not. I didn't endorse anybody because I didn't think it was my place. Now that it's over with, I mean, Brandon won by a lot in the end, right? Like, so much so that Sheila's sort of put down the sword, and the feeling would be that Brandon can't be beaten in November. I mean, I know Bob Wallace and this other people are going to get involved in this. I just think Brandon will and should be supported, quite frankly. You know what I mean? Like, as a citizen, Brandon's done nothing to make me not want to support him. Did I have questions? Sure. Do I have questions? Absolutely. Will I hold him accountable? 1,000,000%. It's what we're going to do. But do I have two hands? If I had a third hand, I'd give it to him. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I can do, and I know you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm ready to, to go to work. I mean, of course, I'm going to be one of those once that before he's actually sworn in December, and once he, in November, once that general election becomes final, and he is the mayor-elect, now I'm definitely going to sit down and talk to him and tell him that what the issues and what neighborhoods and communities need, particularly the more black communities, you know what I mean? Because there's a dire need as far as not only just dealing with public safety and, of course, the education factor, but also it becomes even more challenging because we're dealing with this COVID. But I think that he has a good idea as far as not only just throughout the entire city, because we can say that his background as far as coming from him being the councilman in the 2nd district, and then also being the public safety chair, because I think, when he was the public safety chair, he just raised the bar so high because it became knowledgeable and fluid as far as what the conditions of every neighborhood, particularly the more violent crime area neighborhoods, what they needed. And so he's able to really come in and step in and do what he needs to do. I'm just hoping that he's not going to be successful if everybody within the city doesn't rally, doesn't pull, roll their sleeves up and be ready to work with him. I don't care what kind of plan you put in place or whatever. It's not going to work until everybody, makes that commitment. So
I hope that's possible. And by the way, I said he was third. I meant second. But he's uniquely qualified in that way, right? Like, one of the reasons people would say to me, why were you considering running against Sheila and not considering running against him, is I just thought Sheila was the wrong brand for me to get off a plane with a Raven hat on. And I think she's a great public servant. I would have, on a campaigning against her, and I think I said this to you, I would have said she could work for me. I think she should be working in some capacity, helping people in the city, to your point, minority businesses, all the things that she's capable of doing. I just didn't think she was a great face, any more than I think Mike Gundy's a great face of the Oklahoma State football program on a sports side. Or I would say I wouldn't want a cheating manager, from the Houston Astros to be my manager right now. I just don't think it's good. And I think this fresh start thing going on with Brandon's good for everybody. And I think there is an opportunity for him to rally people, and that he is, I would say, uniquely qualified, right? Like, he is a uniquely qualified young person who has touched people like you and me across the city over this course of time. And I think it's not going to happen without all of us, right? It's not going to happen without the 600,000 people in the city. And for the first time in a long time, I am very heartened. I am heartened for what my business, my life, my friends' businesses and lives could be if we can be that success story that I've talked so much about here, which inspired me to do Baltimore Positive, which was getting on airplanes, Sean, and landing in Nashville and
Yeah.
Indianapolis and Charlotte and Cleveland and Detroit. These places that I used to go to and say, this place sucks. Baltimore's way better. We got Camden Yards, man. You know, like
Exactly.
we got the aquarium, man. Like we got things in Baltimore. We got crab cakes, man. And now I get off the plane and they talk about Sheila's transgressions and Catherine Pugh and Freddie Gray and and malware and violence and murders and all of these things that we, like these other communities that have overcome these issues. And I use Medellin in Colombia as an incredible example for everyone to say that's the bottom of the bottom, and they fixed it. And how can we fix it? And how can we make Harbor Place better? And how can we make the East Side and the West Side better? And how can we make these hospitals stronger and our universities stronger and our tech stronger and, in Port Covington, everything we're trying to do here, how can we make this thing conduct like a symphony? And I think the first thing, and to bring it full circle, Sean, we got to stop kids from killing each other, and we got to fix this gang situation and employment situation, education situation. I called it the big C's, crime, children. I went down the list and said, really does start with our schools, and it really does talk about somebody. I think it was Nancy Grasmick on Baltimore Positive almost a year ago says, you want to show me, and I know this is a political adage, you want to show me where your morals and your integrity and what you're really about. Just show me your budget. Show me your budget. What are you doing for the kids? What do you spend on our children? What do you spend on the teachers and the books and the facilities and the drinking water? What are we doing for our children? And that would show you really where our morals are, right? What are we investing in our future?
Right, exactly. And that's what it's all about. And that's why, I enjoy working with, 300 Men March and the Corps and a lot of these organizations that are really geared towards, kids in the community. Because we know that they're the ones that's really, really going to push things forward. And so we have to really get to them and to their minds and really start just redirecting as far as their focus and really get more in community. And that's why, I keep my girls active and all their friends active as far as in the community and what we're trying to do. And just like this kind of leads up to as far as what, good friend of mine, DeWard Thomas, and then had started, getting some kids up in his neighborhood and paying them $10 an hour for no more than 3 hours. And then Munir Bahar, he reached out to Munir Bahar and he started, and then Munir contacted me, said, hey, do you want to start it as well? Get some kids in your area that you can pay them $10 an hour for 3 hours on a Saturday morning, and just start navigating through your community as far as cleaning up the trash. I mean, it's a lot of people that, I got streets that has a lot of high traffic, and they throw trash out constantly and this and that.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do? What can Brandon Scott do about that? Because, I mean, we have seen that as such an incredible issue in this city that there is some culture of throwing trash out. Like, I live downtown, and I think to myself, if it wasn't getting thrown on the ground, it wouldn't need to be picked up, and it wouldn't be floating around with the ducks that I see. That would be something for me that's free of charge, right? So, I mean, we talk about things that cost money and things that we need money to fix or infrastructure or things that are broken. This is simple, right? And I remember Mayor Schaefer did a thing 40 years ago, the Hot Shot program, right? He put it turned into a basketball game, right? If you shoot baskets and get the trash in the trash can, and then we don't have that, right? Then we don't have the trash, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's what's going to have to happen as far as that. He's going to have to reach out to get with every agency, because I think it's a full effort. It's not just a DPW issue, but I think it's going to take everybody, create those unique campaigns, like you mentioned. I mean, that everybody can get into it and sort of make it fun, but also be educational. That I think that a lot of those small things, those small quirks as far as within our public school educational system is just not continuously being taught. I think what kind of hurts is that, since there's, middle school choice and high school choice, we have so many kids going to school outside of their community. So they'll trash it up because, hey, I don't live here, I don't care.
Ugh.
And then they'll go home and probably leave their communities a lot better. But at times now we're not even educating them on that level. They're leaving not only the community that they're attending school in, as well as their own community trashed up and dirty. So we have to change that. We have to educate, and we have to, to kind of get engaged. But it's all, it also all boils down to, as far as, just the parents. In order for me to actually practice what I preach, I need to show, as far as even my own children and their closest friends and so forth, who may not have positive role models in their life, on what's right and what's wrong. So that's what it's all about. We just have to be really, really more engaged as far as what type of information we're getting to our kids.
Well, the Be United mask is up. Sean Stinnett's been my friend a long time. Came into WNST and did a lot of cool stuff for us back in the day, and we're appreciative. And carrying the mutual friends along, I'm sure you and me will be locked down with Ray Bachman in a trivia segment sometime here soon. But I appreciate the mask, appreciate your friendship all this time, and we'll stay in touch, man. We got to have you on a little bit more around here, tell some stories about what's going on around the city. All right, my brother?
Definitely. Looking forward to it. And if I can, real quick,
plug.
That company that made the mask was Citywide Youth Development.
Nice.
They're the same ones that actually hires young kids that sells Italian ice around the city.
Okay.
So like I said, they also did those custom masks, and also, if I can just mention, as far as the cleanup program, if I'm definitely looking for donations for our Clean Streets Youth Employment Program. Like I mentioned, that I hire kids from my particular area of West Arlington and within the Liberty Wabash corridor, hire them at $10 an hour, no more than 3 hours on a Saturday, so they earn $30. And we use that. All the proceeds go to the kids that are being hired. We're looking for more kids. If you'd like to donate, you can donate via Cash App at $SASTINNETT. That's $SASTINNETT. And like I said, all the proceeds go directly to the kids. And I'm getting, the first week we had 5, last week we had 9, and so far we have 12 coming into Saturday. I'm just crossing my fingers that we're not going to get rained out, but I'm going to still find a way as far as to get them to active so they can still earn that money.
If these kids knew you went to school with Tupac, you show them that Tupac picture, you can get some help.
Oh, yeah. It goes crazy when I post it up.
Sean Stinnett, you can find him through me or anywhere he is, and the Be United folks, and the 300-Men March, and all the cool stuff he's doing over at West Arlington. Hey, man, love you. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Love you too, brother.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
And you'll see me out here with this mask on. But you know what's happened, bro, is my pal Ken Stork's mom made some masks, and she made me a purple camouflage mask. I had that one. And then my wife's aunt down in Punta Gorda, Florida, mailed us up these Route 66 in Australia masks because we travel. So I'm going to mix it up, all right? So, I don't just have one guitar.
Not a problem.
I'm going to be like
when
Rick
I dropped
Nielsen.
it off, your door person, the person that was sitting in the front, I actually I gave him a couple because he got jealous when he saw your mask.
Well, good. That means he's safe around me.
Right.
Sean Stinnett's my man. Be United's the campaign. Sean was a long-time intern, helper, worker, event coordinator, producer, jack of all trades. He was the West Arlington flash we had at WNST on Hart Road. So it's great to catch up with him. Good man. And Coppin State, all the background. So we're keeping it real around here, man. We gotta get more people doing the right things around Baltimore, and certainly want to support new mayor, soon-to-be new mayor Brandon Scott. I wrote a lot about it at WNST.net. You can read the blogs up there out of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat and everywhere we are. WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, calm, local, headed to the beach, and Baltimore positive.